Hi my dears, it's Tanya. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be undecorating for Christmas. I'll be showing you a winter haul, a little bit of cleaning, as well as winter decorating for 2023. If you haven't taken down your Christmas decor, I hope this gives you a little motivation to grab a bin and start taking down your Christmas decor. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let me wish you a Happy New Year. I don't know about you all, but I feel like Christmas just came and went so quickly. Even my children commented on how quickly it passed. Nevertheless, we had a beautiful Christmas. We did all the Christmas things. We went to a Christmas tree lighting at our church. My daughter and I went to an ugly sweater Christmas social, which was a lot of fun. Then my husband and I went to his men's Bible study Christmas party, and that was very nice. Then we drove to Johnson City, Texas to look at all the lights, and we enjoyed a Christmas play. Then we attended our church's Christmas play. We also decorated a gingerbread house, and we decorated ugly Christmas sweater cookies, all before my parents came into town to visit us for Christmas. Once my parents got here, my mom and daughter made a batch of Christmas cookies together. The next day was Christmas Eve, so we went to our church's candlelit Christmas Eve service. Then we came home and ate dinner, and then I started wrapping presents. We had a beautiful Christmas morning opening presents and then making breakfast. Then we had a delicious Christmas lunch of ham and green bean casserole, cheesy potatoes, yams, cranberries, rolls with honey butter, and sweet tea. Then a couple of days after Christmas, my parents, husband, and I went to Hobby Lobby to check out their 75% off Christmas sale. Then we went back again when everything was reduced to 90% off. Okay, I totally feel like the Grinch right now as I'm removing the stockings and stocking holders. Doesn't it look like a scene from that movie? As you can see, I'm not a Grinch. I'm watching Frosty the Snowman as I undecorate. I'm trying to hold on to every bit of Christmas for as long as I can. Let me know in the comments what you did for Christmas, if you did the same types of things as me and my family, or if you did something completely different to celebrate. I'd love to hear about it. You'll notice as I undecorate that I'm leaving some pieces behind, and that's because they're either everyday pieces or I'm planning on using them in my winter decor. You'll have to stay till the end to see if I in fact used everything that I left behind, or did I switch things up once I started decorating. The day that I'm undecorating is actually December 31st, New Year's Eve. So when do you undecorate? Do you undecorate the day after Christmas, sometime within the week, or do you wait till after New Year's? Let me know in the comments what you typically do. I personally wait till after New Year's Day to take down my Christmas decor, but this year I had told myself I was going to try and do it early, but we were so busy with having family in town that I kind of just pushed it off till New Year's Eve. You'll notice that I'm just putting ornaments and all the decor into bins with not really any rhyme or reason to it right now, because we did stick some bins in our attic. So once my husband gets those down, then I'm going to go through everything and sort it in a particular manner. When organizing your holiday decor, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. One of them being sorting them with like in the same bin, or by categorizing them by room or area by area. For example, right now I'm undecorating the dining table, so I could just take all of the dining table items and put them in one bin and seal it up and label it dining table. Or I could take the greenery and put it in one bin, take my ornaments and put it in another bin, etc., etc. I could also take all the living room decor and put it in one bin, Or I could categorize it by, okay, all these items were on the fireplace, so I'm gonna put them in one bin. This is all the Christmas tree decor, I'll put it in another bin. This was, you know, the media console decor and the coffee table decor, so I'll put it in another bin. I could do the same with the kitchen, the entryway, the front porch. Honestly, I haven't decided how I'm going to organize it this year. I think I might do it by category, all the wreaths with all the wreaths, because that's what I've done in the past. And I think I may redecorate everything differently next year. But then again, I'm not so sure. That's something that I'll figure out as I'm putting it away, because I know I'll want to fill my bins up to the top and not leave them half empty. So if I can get a particular category in to one bin and fill it up, then that's what I'll do. And if I can't, then I might have to mix some things together. That's actually what I did with my fall decor. I put all the pumpkins into one bin, signs in another bin, and just categorized it that way, because chances are I will redecorate for fall differently than I did this last year. Let me know in the comments how you organize your Christmas decor. Do you do it by category or by area? Oh, another little tip I just thought about is that if you have some Christmas decor that can be utilized for another season, example, winter decor, or if it's red and you could use it for Valentine's or for 4th of July, then keep that out. I don't know if you saw that red and white striped jar. That was actually something I purchased during 4th of July, and I held it back so that I could use it in my Christmas decor, and I may even consider using it in my Valentine decor. When you do that, it's a good way to use what you already have and not spend more money. I personally try to do that as often as I can, as well as shop sales and clearance. I also like to take my everyday decor and utilize it as part of my holiday decor. Sometimes that means that I use it and just add holiday decor to embellish it, or sometimes that means that I move it to another part of our home to give it a new life. So I encourage you to look at your existing decor and see where you can use it, either for another holiday or for another season, or maybe even in another space in your home. Another tip, like I did here, is you can use cookbook holders, cookbooks, rolling pins, wooden spoons, and dishes to decorate your kitchen. Your decor can be functional and still be decorative. So keep that in mind as you scan your home for items and as you shop for new items. Okay, we're getting to the end of this undecorating. Phew! I don't know about you all, but my kitchen was hit hard with all the holiday cooking and baking. So I gave my stovetop a good cleaning, and I degreased my vent hood with some dishwashing soap, hot water, and a sponge. Then I gave my dining table a good wipe down. It is crazy how much dust collected on it in just 1 month. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are literally lines from where the placemats were and the table runner were. This is the only cleaning I'm doing on camera. Everything else I did off camera. I swept, I mopped, I dusted. You get the gist. So here's some of the stuff I got at Hobby Lobby at 75% off for Christmas that I'm going to be using in my winter decorate with me. So starting right over there with those bowls, I got those, then the snowflakes right there, then the Let It Snow sign, the pine cones that look like they've been snowed on, this bell, then that wooden craft Christmas tree, then the It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year sign, and 2 mini boxes of Christmas trees. I'm planning on reusing that centerpiece on my dining table, the deer, then I'll be incorporating that apothecary jar somehow, possibly using these beads and berries, and these ornaments that were all used at Christmas. Then for the rest of the items, I shopped my home. I have that monogrammed M this scale. Then I've got a vintage tray and some coffee related items and decor. Then this lantern right here. Then another sign, some more lanterns, a little vintage truck, and then a cookie jar and a utensil holder. This 3-tiered tray that I might use, a distressed wreath, a few signs, some dough bowls that you can see right back there that I'm going to try and use, another sign, possibly these candlesticks, and this welcome sign, as well as this vintage tray. Hopefully you can see that. And I'll be using this deer table runner and that wreath. So this is an overview of what I'm planning on using. I may pull some more things as I decorate, and I did leave up what I am already planning to use so I wouldn't have to pull it down and replace it. And I forgot to add these sconces in with these candles. I will be using those as well. Okay, here comes the fun part. Let's decorate for winter. I'll begin with my front porch, then we'll move on to the entryway, kitchen, dining room, and living room. For the front porch, I left everything the same except for I removed the Christmas wreath that I had and exchanged it for this green wreath that I had hanging on my pantry door in the kitchen. And then I switched out my Christmas rug for this snowflake rug that I got at Hobby Lobby at 90% off. These two simple changes made it go from a Christmas front porch to a winter front porch. You'll notice throughout the video that I made simple changes to take it from Christmas decor to winter decor so I wouldn't have to redecorate my whole house for winter. Almost like a game of spot the difference. What stayed the same? What changed? Let's see if you can figure it out as I decorate. Don't worry, I'll tell you as we go along. I got this berry napkin ring at Hobby Lobby at 90% off with the intention to using it on a candlestick, but once I started decorating, that changed and I wound up using it underneath this candle to add some color to that area. It just goes to show that you don't have to use things for what they're intended for. Find a different use for them. In this case, it went from a napkin ring to being the greenery at the base of my candle. Now I'm taking the deer that were on my dining table and I'm placing them at my entryway. By simply taking the deer from the dining table to the entryway, I'm giving them a completely new look. To follow the rule of 3, I added the deer, then I added a flocked Christmas tree, and then a snowed-on pine cone. Then to soften the look of the metal, I added some green moss underneath the deer's foot and around it to make it look like grass. Then I repeated that with my other deer that's sitting down, and I really loved how it turned out. This was one of those moments where after I finished that little vignette, I was super happy. The entryway is done. Like I said, I would let you know what I changed. The entire top shelf has been changed, from the welcome sign to the lantern to the dough bowl with ornaments that look like snowballs to the craft tree and distressed wreath. But on the entrance piece, I left pretty much everything the same. I left the green trees there and the cloche, as well as my faux fur rug. The only changes here were the balancing scales and the deer decor, plus the blessed beads, as well as me putting in the napkin ring and the candle into the cloches. Now let's move on to the kitchen. I switched out my Christmas sign for this chalkboard that I wrote, "Baby, it's cold outside." I'm simply spinning my bowl around so that you can't see the word love on it, and I'm adding this sign to it. Then I'm moving a bottle brush tree to the top shelf where it would be better suited. Then I added in a white truck where my hot cocoa sign used to be. Now I'm adding in these pine tree detailed bowls where my red trucks used to be. Now I'm adding in a coffee pitcher and mug where my vintage cake stand used to be with ornaments. Everything else stayed in its place, and by simply making these few changes, it went from a Christmas themed hutch to a winter themed hutch. Now moving on to my tablescape, I left everything as is. I only removed the red and white checkered napkins as well as the metal sayings. Now let's decorate the coffee bar and hot cocoa bar. I swapped out the hot chocolate bar sign for this coffee sign. Then I swapped out the Santa for this hot cocoa sign. Then I swapped out the marshmallow jar for one that didn't have any red on it. Then I added back in our everyday coffee and sugar holders, which hold my husband's coffee and my coffee filters and scoop. This is the hot cocoa sign that I moved over from the hutch to the buffet. I wasn't ready to let go of our hot cocoa bar just yet, since January and February are our coldest months. Let's move on to my baking station. I swapped out my cutting board for this vintage tray, and then I swapped out my Christmas tea towel for this more neutral striped one. Then I added that wreath that was actually on my coffee table being used as part of my Christmas decor. Then I switched out my Christmas spatulas for these wooden spoons and added a snowed on pine cone for a wintry touch. Then I added that cookie jar because I think it's so cute. I simply swapped out my Christmas soap dispenser for this more neutral one. Then I placed these flowers by the sink that my father gave to me and my daughter so that I could enjoy them while I wash dishes. As we move on to this other corner of my kitchen, you'll notice immediately that I did switch out my 3-tiered tray. I wanted to give my other one a break and bring in a darker color for winter, and then I'll bring that one back in the spring. Pretty much everything is getting changed out on my 3-tiered tray, with the exception of the berry greenery, the risers, and the cups. I'm using decor that I already had, with the exception of the flocked trees, snowed on pine cones, and this Let It Snow sign, and the napkin ring. The napkin ring and the Let It Snow sign were 90% off at Hobby Lobby, so you didn't see those in my haul because I bought them after I had filmed that. If you're looking for more winter decorate with me inspiration, please check out my last year's winter decorate with me video. It is a neutral style and completely different than this winter themed one. I'll link it in the description below. Also, if you're enjoying this video, please click like, it helps my channel out, and please consider subscribing. It's completely free and it also helps out my channel. I thank you in advance for liking and subscribing. In this area, I left everything the same with the exception of changing out that tea towel. Remember, I told you at the beginning that I took the wreath off my pantry door and put it on my front door, and I swapped it out for this smaller one. Then I switched out my Christmas apron for that buffalo check tea towel. Then I took this cake stand from my hutch and filled it with oranges. In this area, I removed everything except for what was left behind, and I just changed the picture to a more winter picture on the cookbook and added some bananas. Now moving into the dining room, I removed the crown on top of the china cabinet and left the greenery. And then I removed the wreaths with Christmas bells hanging on them. And I placed a mirror on one side and a Be Our Guest sign on the other. I then swapped out my black table runner for this deer one. And I kept the berry centerpiece. Where the deer at the entryway once were, I'm adding in a snowflake, a sign, and an ornament that looks like a snowball. Then on the other side, I'm adding in a snowflake, this antler napkin ring that I got at 90% off, as well as a snowball. To complete the look, I'm just scattering in a few snowed-on pine cones here and there. Since we won't be eating at our formal dining table this month, I just wanted to keep it decorated but very simple. I know some might think that this "It's the most wonderful time of the year" sign might feel like Christmas, but to this Texas girl who does enjoy the winter, it is the most wonderful time of the year. And I'm trying to enjoy every bit of it before that Texas heat comes around again. Like I said earlier, I felt like Christmas came and went really quickly, so I am going to leave my tree up and enjoy the glow of lights for a little bit longer. To our fireplace area, I removed the Christmas bells and I'm putting up these candle holders with LED candles. All I did to the mantle was remove the stocking holders, stockings, and beads, and I left everything else the same. I added in a few snowy pine cones to give it more of a winter look. Then I swapped out our red cozy blanket for a white cozy blanket. Moving on to our media console, I'm taking the apothecary jar that I had on our coffee table for Christmas with a nativity scene in it, and I placed a flocked tree in it, and I am placing that in one of the cubbies. Then I added a "Let It Snow" sign next to it, as well as an ornament that looks like a snowball. Then I placed some more ornaments that look like snowballs in my dough bowl. Next to that, I added a green jar just to add a pop of color to that area. Then I added some picture frames and a jar full of snowy pine cones and some pine cones here and there to complete the look. I really love how these snowballs look in this dough bowl. You'll notice that I use these ornaments that look like snowballs throughout our home to carry that snow theme throughout our home. I also used pine greenery, some berries, flocked trees, pine cones, and beautiful deer to bring the outside of winter in. Now on to the coffee table. Begin by setting down this Bible to add height to the bell. Then I'll add this cuddle weather sign and this snowball. The living room is done, but we still have one more spot that we need to decorate. I swapped out the mirrors for this monogrammed M, and I left the berry wreath the same. The last spot to decorate is the entryway on the way out. I like to decorate this little area because as guests leave our home, that's the direction they're facing, and they do notice that area as they exit. I pretty much left everything the same in this area. I am simply swapping out the Christmas ornaments for these ornaments that look like snowballs. Then I added a flock tree and a snowed-on pine cone to complete the look. I hope you enjoyed this winter decorate with me. Happy winter! Thanks for watching. See you soon.